Well, when I woke up that morning, we had a lot of people in my house. I knew I was coming to a new school, didn't know why. All of a sudden, a black car pulled up in front of the door, and my house got real quiet. And I can remember that silence today, and I really knew something was about to happen. There was a white man at the door with his armband on and a hat, and another one standing outside by the car. But once we approached the door, I can remember my mother telling me, when you get to the car, in the car, sit to the back of the seat, do not put your face to the window. We turned a corner, which was St. Claude Avenue. There was mobs of people out there, and I could just see police on horseback holding the crowd back. I just heard the noise, and the noise sounded to me as if he was in the midst of a crowd waiting for a parade to come, and that was the only thing that I could understand. Just paid attention to getting out the car and walking up the flight of the stairs and, being escorted with my mother with me and holding my hand and the two marshals on the side. But still had no clue what we were doing. And I can remember counting the stairs. Until today, I remember there were 18 stairs. And approached the principal's office. We were sitting so long. Gail, Tess, and I think, is when we really got to know each other. Played hopscotch on the tiles of the floor outside the principal's office. So we got placed in the first grade classroom, and it was a full body of students, and I can remember trying to speak to a little white girl, and she didn't respond. It was like I was invisible. She didn't look my way, she didn't do anything. But the parents started coming in and pulling their children out. And by 3 o'clock that day, we were the only 3 students in that classroom. And in fact, we were the only 3 students in that entire building. Windows were all papered up with brown paper. Even the doors at the stairwell exit were covered. No one could see in there, and we couldn't see out. And not realizing all of that was for safety reasons. We couldn't even go on the side of the room where there was a window. There was a pencil sharpener that we used to try to use all the time, but the teacher was very motherly. She was more protective than anything. The marshals picked us up and brought us home every day, but every day we arrived at school, the crowd was out there. They would be out there even when we left in the evening. But we were in this building alone for a year and a half without any other students. I can remember just coming home, and it was strange to come home and be able to see yourself going to school on television. And that was the important part for me to understand. But why I was doing this was not explained at all for a long time. I had no clue that it was because of the color of my skin that it was made a difference. Well, whenever Tessie, Gail, and I talked, we were always sentimental about McDonogh 19. Everybody else was ready to just get rid of it and just do something else in the lower Ninth Ward. It was the historical part of it that made me, didn't want it to be torn down.
In about 2016, Leona had already been very long into her journey of trying to redevelop, really acquire and redevelop McDonogh 19. The vision here was more than just commemorating and honoring the history of that day, November 14th, 1960.
We came up with Interpretive Center, and it's here to educate those on the civil rights movement of the New Orleans public school desegregation. And our mission is to undo racism through avenues of education. We want people to come in and tour the building just as we came in the building and understand the steps that we made to create this a mixture of people, not just for Black people or just for white people.
And so the Interpretive Center has been opening in stages. They have a long-term goal of fundraising in order to fully build out an exhibit space that certainly does justice to the power of this building. A huge part of the mission of this project goes well beyond a real estate development. First, we want people to certainly understand the history and how prominent 6-year-old girls were to the civil rights movement and the struggle for equality. We want people to understand that this is not distant history.
I want them to leave here with the understanding, especially students, that no matter what you want to do, just understand that there is a brighter future for everyone if we just work together. I want the TEP Center to be the place for that dialogue, because I feel like Jesse Gale and I were introduced to racism here, and I want it to end here.